There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's OpenONU Go call. Thanks for joining. As usual, the call is public and recorded. Will be shared live on YouTube. So please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. First of all, a little bit of a reminder that we are having the code freeze November 26th, which is this Friday. There is a known bug system that we need to work out. We started investigating yesterday with Theo, which is the ONU delete and come back. There is a system test for that. Hard to put it together. The issue seems to be ordering of the flows. We don't believe the adapter, the ONU adapter, has anything to do per se. It seems to receive properly cleanup of the flows, but we see double flows at the OF agent core level, and we need to investigate it from the ONOS side. That's it. Then this is what we're gonna work on as a bug fix in the after code freeze. But today, what I really wanted to talk about, are there any questions on this one?
Just to be clear, I don't think this has anything to do with the OpenONU adapter.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing, I think. Okay. Okay, so the topic for today that I really wanted to talk about is the device reconcile flows are removed while the OpenONU adapter is down. So I believe we need to discuss this because what happens is with the new OLT app that Theo has written, when the port goes down, the flows are removed, and but that might happen during reconciliation, and because the adapter was down as well. So that situation entails effectively a wrong outcome. So Holger, Theo, can you share some thoughts on this one?
Actually, the problem appear, we have seen the issue because in the test case, in the test suites, we have a test case which tests the reconciling starting from the disabled device state, and in the test cases there was a reason queried if the disabling was done. It was the reason OMSI admin locked was queried, and if it was reached, then the adapter was killed. But afterwards, the mechanism starts that the OLT app is removing the flows, but this information does not reach us anymore because we are already in reconciling mode and not reachable via a gRPC. And that means this effect was clearly reproducible. In the meanwhile, Thorsten changed the test suite accordingly that he is waiting for when he tests the reconciling from the disabled state, he waits until the TPs and flows are deleted, and only then kills the adapter. This is some probably 200 or 300 milliseconds later. And together with a new patch I delivered today, the reconciling test suites are now working again. But the problem itself is not disappeared. That means, for example, when the adapter is killed and comes back again, will be restarted by Kubernetes, then we have this period, for example, 30 seconds, the adapter is not reachable anymore. And within this time period, it is likely, or it could be that, for example, the subscribers are removed from the owners, or and we would have actually the same effect, that the flows are deleted, but we do not get it. And actually, the question, actually, it has to be clarified how to deal with this issue. There are two possibilities. The first one would be that the RW core would be in charge of repeating the tag profile and flow configuration if the adapter comes back again, and or if it recognizes that it can't configure the adapter, or the ONU adapter has to cope somehow with this issue. But the problem is that if we come back and we do not have the tag profile information anymore, then it is not so easily to clean up the configuration of the ONU, because we do not have this information anymore. So it would always come to a MIP reset, that we have to reconfigure the ONU. So the idea would be that we recognize that several tag profiles are disappeared. Then we would also have to delete the recording flows in our database, and then we have to reconfigure the complete ONU. That means a MIP reset and then new configuration. And that is the question: how should we deal with this? And what was your conclusion? I think Andrea, you have also discussed this issue within ONF, right?
So I think that given that this is quote unquote a corner case, it should be fine to reset, to do a MIB reset on the ONU. That seems a much easier approach than having the core retry in certain conditions.
That means there's the idea that the core would be responsible to repeat this messages is not feasible, right? Or you don't want to do this?
It's probably
ahead,
feasible, just it seems pretty complicated and a possible source of a lot of other bugs.
Yeah, I would agree with Theo here.
One further question: could we imagine, for example, when we have the TT scenario, we have 3 tag profiles. Is it somehow possible that only one tag profile is deleted and the others are still valid during our absence?
I think it's an all or nothing. I mean, it is true that the different service profiles entail are there because they have different services, and Turk Telecom does provision and unprovisioned services. But I would treat this as an all or nothing operation, and we just completely clean up the ONU and get back everything we have from the core. And whatever that everything is up to the core to give us. So independently, if one service or multiple services are removed, we can still deal with them.
Okay, that means okay. One could think on a more sophisticated approach, but also it would also be possible if we encounter only one tag profile which is not available anymore, then we can conclude that the complete configuration is gone, right? Or was deleted. So complete tag profile and flow configuration.
Because to be honest, you don't know exactly what went on. The whole point is that you want to be sure of the state of the system. And if you're missing one, maybe it was removed and re-added, and it signifies that some operation went on the ONU. And maybe also you find the other two, but how can you be sure that they are exactly the same configuration, the same service, the same tech profile? I don't know. It seems complicated to do a lot of checks. If we reset and accept whatever the core give us, that's not too bad.
I mean,
maybe yes, we can think about more complicated and complex scenarios, but yeah, I think that as a first step to cover this corner case, as Theo said, a full reset is fine.
Mhm. But because there's one use case one can think of is, for example, that an tag profile was not deleted but modified or deleted and just recreated again with different data. Then we would read this tag profile. We would not recognize or not realize that it is a different one, because we haven't stored it in the etcd. It comes from the OLT, and then we would also have data inconsistencies. But for this scenario, I do not have a solution. I have to admit.
So that's why I think the MIB reset is the best option.
And to delete all TPs and flows of this UNI, right?
Yeah, because they're already gone.
I wouldn't agree to that solution. I
propose you would propose the other solution, that we only delete the tag profiles we do not find anymore and the corresponding flows, right?
Yes. Because if you find the tag profile, then I still would assume that they are still the same as configured some time ago.
Well, you can't. But I stressed you can't be sure, because it could
of course also be modified. Can't be sure. You can't be sure, but the probability that they are still the same is quite high. So the probability that they are the same is higher than the probability or the problems you run into when you simply delete the configuration on the ONU adapter, because then you have a mismatch again between the OLT adapter and the ONU adapter.
Yeah, but you mean if you have partly deleted TP information, right?
Yes.
Only parts of the TPs are deleted.
Yeah, okay. You delete the maybe still existing tag profile informations on the ONU adapter, but they are still existing in the OLT adapter. And that is surely a mismatch that leads to some complicated situations afterwards.
But before Andreas said that this would be probably an atomic operation to delete all.
No, he didn't say. He didn't say so. He said Turk Telecom is capable of removing individual flows.
Okay.
So we have to cope with that situation.
Yeah, they can remove individual services, yes.
Okay, then it's clear. Okay, that atomic, you was not sure if it was atomic. Okay, then you corrected it. Yeah, I see. Okay, then we can think of implementing this approach to make a particular deletion of tag profiles and also the flows, and then to keep the tag profiles we still find, we keep in service.
Yeah, but I see still a different problematic situation that can arise from that. So if we find that some tag profile that we had in the etcd store does not exist anymore, then the approach would also remove the according flow in the ONU adapter. But that is also a little bit problematic, because we don't know if that flow exists or does not exist anymore in the core. So then we might also have a different state in the ONU adapter and in the, let's say, RW core concerning the flow configuration.
But all the flow,
that might also lead to problems that appear afterwards.
But all the flows aren't the flows related to a certain tag profile? If this tag profile is deleted, then the flows are also, then we should consider that these flows are also not valid anymore?
At least they are seen from the system quite independently.
Theo, Andrea, what is your opinion? If could a flow exist if the corresponding tag profile is not existing anymore?
In the core, I believe so. I don't think in the OpenONU adapter a flow can exist. So in the adapters, whenever a flow is created, a tag profile entry is created for that device, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yes.
The core, I think the core doesn't know anything about tag profiles.
So, what is the decision regarding the flows if the tag profile is not valid or not accessible anymore?
I just wanted to point that out, that it is a problematic situation. You can imagine that the RW core still assumes that the flow exists also for the ONU adapter, but we have removed it due to the tag profile. And that would result in a situation where RW core does not send a new create flow to the ONU adapter afterwards. So then we don't receive any flow config anymore afterwards.
Yeah,
So
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
That is the problem situation that I still, and that's why I really hoped that you would still consider the other solution that we have otherwise in the system also assumed for other situations, that as long as the ONU adapter is not able to handle requests, then the system either has to wait for that or has to repeat the requests. Because that's, in my point of view, the only constellation that can ensure that the flow configuration and tag profile configuration is kept symmetrical on RW core, OLT adapter, and ONU
But
adapter.
so in this case, there's really no way we can retry, I think. Unless we put in a buffer in the core, it's, to me, fairly hard that the core retries, because
Yeah, the problem, I would not see the problem in RW core. I would see the problem in the OLT adapter. What's the name? OLT app. Because I think the OLT app is the originator of this removal in the situation we are discussing.
Yeah. So
after OLT, after device disable. So, and for ONOS, we also had made the assumption that if ONOS wants to do some activity in respect to the ONO adapter, then it has to repeat the activity, of course, through RW core and through OLT adapter.
So ONOS will keep resending the instruction until we get a confirmation, meaning that when we want to delete a flow, ONOS will keep sending the delete until the flow is deleted.
Yeah, that's what my understanding, how it is implemented now.
So what you're saying is that if the core does not actually remove the flows staying pending remove, and ONOS keeps asking them to be removed.
Yeah.
That means you will put also.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Holger.
That means you would the responsibility for the repetition would then be on the owner's side, right? If, for example, the RW core says I'm not able to remove the flow because the ONU adapter is not present, then the ONU's adapter would be in charge to repeat, or is it not correct?
If the flow is still present in the core and ONOS wants it removed, ONOS will keep asking until that flow is removed.
That's already the present situation, Holger.
But then exactly. But then the RW core can recognize that we are not able to to process this flow removal. So he could also send a negative acknowledgement to the owners, right?
It's already
Yeah,
done, Holger.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
where's our problem then? Because
The
when the
Holger,
owners repeats it, yeah, you know.
Holger, the problem is in the OLT app, because that's the origin of the flow removal and tag profile removal that we are facing in the disable-enable case.
That means
But
how is the workflow when the OLT app starts this removal? Then it goes not via the owner, so or how is it? How is this controlled?
Yeah, so
Matthias.
the OLT app is a piece of ONUs.
Yeah, yeah.
So when the OLT app says remove the flows, then we'll get into this mechanism that will keep asking through ONUs to get the flow removed till they are removed.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think happens is that the flow removal arrives to the core, and the core divides the request to the OpenONU adapter and the OpenONU adapter. Now, the OpenONU adapter doesn't process the request and remove the reference to the tag profile, while the OpenONU adapter is not there, so it's not cleaning up. And so the flows are not removed in the core. And ONUs will keep trying deleting those. But because of the reconciled stops, we never process them in the OpenONU adapter. So I think it's fine to treat a missing profile independently from the flow, because we'll receive a new flow delete request.
Flow delete, yeah.
Okay, you were saying we would also have this problem in a case where someone in ONUs really removes the flow, but we haven't observed this this problem yet, because in this scenario we do not request the actual tag profile anymore. So we don't see that the tag profile was removed in between.
Actually, but in a reconciling case, we always retrieve the tag profile.
If we do the reconciling, of course, we have to request it new from the OLT adapter, and that's why we only see the situation in this case then. Okay, so with the assumption that we should receive a flow delete in this situation after reconciling, we should be capable in the ONU adapter to handle this with the discussed scenario that we internally remove the tag profile and the according flow. And if we receive the new delete flow afterwards, then we just find the flow does not exist anymore in the ONU adapter. And that would mean that we react with a success because it does not exist anymore. So that should be working.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So nevertheless, we need this solution at the ONU adapter.
Okay. Good. Thanks. That was a good discussion. I think we reached a good assessment on this one. Perfect. Okay, so there was a fix that was brought by Michael on 2.8. The patches, this one got merged, and I will update the Helm charts for this. to make sure it's included in the 2.8 release. We are still waiting for a couple of other fixes, so it might not be in the exact next days. So it might be that that this fix is not going to be in 2.8 for a couple of days, but that's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I also wanted to say that also I don't know which changes you had in mind now for release 2.8, but I think also for the ONU adapter, some changes are still open in release 2.8. So might be a good idea to collect them.
Okay, what are these changes?
I don't know. I have to.
Okay.
To verify
No
that there were a lot of changes in the mainline and latest, and some of them we already discussed that they have to be backported. I also remember some upgrade-related changes, but there might be some others. So, yeah, it might be a good idea to collect all these changes for release 2.8 in a later release.
Okay. You let me know where when these get in. If you make any patches, just let me know, and we can extend the numbers properly of the adapter in the Helm charts. Okay. The storing of unsupported MEs, that is done, and also we merged the fix in VoltaLib Go, OMCI Lib Go, sorry, from Chip, and the fix from Michael in here. And with the ONU that I was seeing this with, which was the Zyxel ONU, GPON here in Menlo on the Radisys OLT, I don't see the issue anymore, meaning that it passes through initial, the starting of the OpenMCI, it gets to initial MIB downloaded, then I can go ahead and push the flows. So it goes to MCI flow pushed and actually passes traffic. So from my point of view, there's really nothing left to be done here, unless Chip, Holger, you think that something still needs to be performed in regards to this aspect.
Actually, the unknown attributes are still open, but as I wrote, actually it would be fine to have this BBSIM functionality to test, to be able to test this, and we have to figure out how we will store the unknown attributes. We have to distinguish between the unknown MEs, which are already stored, and then we have this new relaxed decoding where unknown attributes are coming, and we have to consider whether we will store them also in the MIB template, or if we only give a log entry and say here's an unknown attribute which should be considered or not. That has to be decided if we want to store the unknown attributes.
I think, Holger, we already discussed that we also want to store the unknown attributes, and later on, if Chip is updating the OMCI-lib to include also the table attributes and perhaps counter into the relaxed decoding, then of course also these elements should be stored in the MIB template. That is not the question. The question is how to test it. We at the moment we don't have the means for doing that, and so you can prepare something, but it does not make really sense because it cannot really be tested. So that is something that can be done later.
I think. Okay. I wasn't sure if we have already discussed this with ONF participation, that we also want to store these attributes in the MIB template.
I think there was discussed last time, right? Or
was it last time? I don't know.
Oh, right.
Okay. Then I'm okay with this.
Yeah, well, it's nearly the same as unknown ME or vendor-specific ME. This is something, some information that is observed by the OMSI-lib as unknown and can't be handled. And so we should store it in the MIB template in order to give some users the ability to have a look at that template to see what all elements are there that are not handled by our code and which might have some influence, maybe also some unexpected influence on the behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there should be some examples in the ONU Go source. There's the relaxed decode test.go file. Should have a variety of sample frames that could probably be cut and pasted.
Okay. We'll create the Jira.
But nevertheless, it would be good to have this BBSIM functionality to test this, because these unknown MEs could be tested by using real ONUs. That was able to test this scenario, because most of the ONUs use vendor-specific or other G988 MEs, which are not considered currently by the OMSI-lib Go. So that could be fairly tested, but to have BBSIM functionality to send unknown attributes would also be good. I think, Michael, you already created the story for this, right?
Yes, I think there's a story for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the Jira, Michael? It's okay. I'll find out. It's okay. I'll find out. No problem. Okay. Good. Yeah, definitely this functionality for BBSIM, not 2.9.
Sorry, Andrea.
Yeah.
Sorry, while you're still on it, it's vol 4437.
Okay. Oops.
If it's not already, feel free to assign it to me.
Yeah, it's still unassigned.
Yeah, maybe it's something that we can also give out to as a relatively starting feature tail. So maybe don't pick it up just yet, given it's not a 2.9 target.
Yeah, I don't think I'll pick it up before the release anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so on the bandwidth profiles versus the traffic descriptor unit, we made a fix. We had to multiply by 125. That's the usual conversion, and everything now seems better. But I recall you, Michael, had a question. I just saw the message on Slack. I didn't actually read it because it was just this morning. It was just this morning, but feel free to bring it up here.
Yeah, we had a discussion on Slack on how to interpret the results, measurement results we had done at Transite with the CERCOM ONUs. And yeah, I learned that also there has been some change in Volta concerning the kind of configuration that can be applied. So some MEF related configuration or some IETF related configuration.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always some, yeah, there are multiple parameters in the meter profiles. And I think it's not really visible for the user which parameter has which influence on, at least in the end, the upstream meter rate setting, which is relevant for the ONU. And that's why I asked for, is there a document describing this procedure with the effects that can be expected by that?
There was one document. there was one document with the mapping and the design for this. I just need to find it. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, Oscar also showed me or showed a document in the Slack discussion, but it was more a development document on the change that was done at that time from MEF to IETF parameters. But that does not explain really how the parameters are interpreted. And yeah, I found out, for instance, that for the committed rate that is applied to the ONU, the sum of AER and CER is used, which is not straightforward if you configure these parameters, in my point of view. So I ask, that's one reason why I ask if there is a description on that interpretation. And another aspect of this discussion is also that the parameters that are set in these meter profiles are used to configure the values per GEM port. And that also might not be the expected behavior if you configure that. Because in the end, now if you use a 1 tcon 8 GEM port scenario, you have the rate for each GEM port. So you have 8 times the rate that you configure there. And that might be quite surprising in the end for a user. And if I'm not
but
sure
that's
if
because
that
the
really
rate is per. But that's because the rate is per service.
If you configure it, the rate is per service. That's
that was
the
my
assumption.
understanding. That was my understanding. Yeah. Unless I am
don't
mistaken.
know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Good point. Let's so let me either find the document or put together something, maybe with the help of Girish, on this, and then we can put it to you to see if you're fine with it, if it looks good, and then we can just proceed from there. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. On the software update side, I don't think there is anything we really need to do here. We backported the issues for the multiple download, Michael.
To release 2.8, you mean?
Yes.
No, something.
Okay, so this is one of this is one of the things we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Then I'm gonna leave it here. Okay, on the PM counters, this is random, not random BBSIM counters. This is not 2.9. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take this out. We're gonna do it in 2.10. Yeah, go ahead.
Andrea, today I received an invitation to the patch review, but I was removed immediately. There was the title is URPC to send multi-ONU software sections. Kesevan is working on this. Do you know about it?
Yes. So it's part of this Jira here. And the idea is that instead of sending a section at a time with the gRPC message, each section a gRPC message, the suggestion was to put together these messages in a one RPC from gRPC, and that would allow us to optimize this. Again, not a 2.9 target, but yeah, something that the Deutsche Telekom is working on. This is with Deutsche Telekom we're working on. I would say let's let them work on this until they are confident enough to show the solution. Let's not worry about it right now. Whenever they
Mhm.
have it, they'll
Okay.
show it to us and we can decide what to do with it.
Okay, I see. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Okay. If you're interested, the Jira is there, so you can go and read about it, but it's the thing. Okay. On voice over IP, I got an update from Odzge. She said that she put together a configuration document for the Zyxel-ONU. I don't know what that configuration document is though, and I asked, but I didn't get a reply. I asked this morning. I don't know if it's in here, maybe. I don't know. Okay, I've asked her where the part is, and we'll get back to everybody on that. And that they also installed a way of testing a client for testing this in their test lab, and that they're working on the voice over IP tests. So something is working, is progressing here. Just not at the pace for 2.9, but that's fine. We just already decided that it's not going to be a 2.9 target. If anybody is interested, the equipment ID that they're using for these tests is a Zyxel-ONU PMG 5003 T20A with this particular software version. So if anybody's interested to try it out, this is the thing. The G108, which is what we have, unfortunately don't work. So that's something to be considered. We did get a Zyxel CPE with a Potsport. I will have to see how that works and if that works, but not a priority right now. There was an issue in the ports due to the OpenFlow spec. The OpenFlow spec says that the number of the port does not allow you to is not allowed to be more than 16 characters. And that is an issue because if you add the ONU serial number dash the number of the port dash P, it goes over the 16. I'm not sure how they are working around this, but it's a strict limitation of the OpenFlow spec. So there we are. We'll find a workaround for this. Okay. Any question on VoIP? Okay. Then Theo, I believe this is not seen anymore, right? This issue at scale, we have not seen it happening anymore.
No, I haven't seen it happening in a while, so
okay.
I think we can take it out.
And probably close the Jira as cannot reproduce. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Good. Perfect. Great. Okay. Torsten, do you want to give us an update on the testing front?
Yes, I can give a small update.
Thanks.
The software upgrade test, Theo did his work for this Jira. It works fine. I adapted the test case, so it is be done. The vol 4302, Andrea.
Oh, good.
Yes, this is done.
Awesome.
Oops.
Can everybody see my screen?
No.
Oh, interesting. No, went away.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No? Oh, okay, good.
Yes, it's back.
This is the next point. It's still open. We already discussed above.
Yeah.
The reconcile tests are finished. So the Jira is closed, and hopefully it's closed. I hope this.
We can
I'm
check.
not sure. We can check
We
it.
can check.
Yes, and it's work in the pipeline successfully. We had some issues regarding the changes Matteo did in the OLT app in the reconcile test suite.
Yep.
But with a few small patches by me and the bigger patch by Holger, hopefully it will run in the near future successfully. This was the main task we did in the last few days.
Yeah, I saw
Actually-
the patches. Thanks for those.
Actually,
Yes.
Thorsten, you already tested all the workflows, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I tested locally, and so Holger patch will work, and I am very optimistic for the near future.
Good.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes. The next points, I don't know what it is. What is the
This one?
highest? Is it? No, the MIP audit. I don't know what it is. It is a long time here, but on the top of testing.
Oh, I believe that is because we do have a functionality to do MIB auditing to the ONU, and I think at some point we discussed having a test for this. Yes, it's a long time it's there, and I also do not entirely remember it, but
Actually, that was, I think there was also a patch in the BBSim that it is sending wrong MDS values, and that we make react on this and reconfigure the ONU. I don't know, Thorsten, you do not have a test case like that currently, right?
Right.
Yeah, perhaps it was a.
but the patch on
expect-
BBSim already was the patch on BBSim already written?
I think so. I think so.
It's not known to me.
I think we have a wait a minute. We have a patch.
Because the question
or
is
is-
how do you configure it? So for
No,
me,
I said I have confused this with a patch in the BBSim that is not answering on every OMSI message. I think that is the difference.
Yeah.
And I think we have still stories for the BBSim somewhere to configure MDS to give a wrong MDS value back. I think we have somewhere we have some stories. We have to search them. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is another good thing that we can give out as a first task. And
but Andrea, I think you asked the Deutsche Telekom, for example, if they want to use a MIP audit and they don't use it, right? Currently,
at the moment they do not, but I think it's a good feature to have, and given that we already have it and it's just missing the BBSim testing, it's a fairly straightforward thing to put into BBSim, at least I'm thinking. And so I'm creating a small patch for that. It's a good maybe beginner's task to get their feet wet with the system. So we might at some point give it to somebody just to get him into the system and getting to know BBSim and things like that. So I'll keep it there. I'll try to find if there is a Jira or not, but let's not consider this a priority. Agreed.
I see.
There were a couple open Jiras on on BBC announcement for testing that are lingering in Jira, but never made the priority list.
Yeah, we can check those at appropriate time with maybe we can spend some time, Theo, looking at all the BBC Jiras and deciding whether worth doing or not. I can do that. Let me take a note on my personal to-do list. Okay. Any other update, Torsten, on the testing front?
I think the next three topics are not from my side. The scale test, I think it's Matteo's task.
Yeah, that's something we will do after 2.9 definitely.
Yes.
And it's effectively to test if we can update 1024 ONUs under two OLTs with 1 volta stack at scale and not
That
blow up the
basically-
system.
That means the software image.
Yes.
Okay.
So from my side, it's all for today.
Okay, thanks. And that is actually the same from my side. I don't see any other. I don't have any other topic. I don't think there is anything else on the agenda to be discussed. But I'd like to open the floor as usual for people to see if they have something to bring up for discussion.
Yeah, just for notice, because yeah, you surely have said that already. Weekend something like that is code freeze point. I still have two items that should be included for that. One is an enhancement in the upgrade procedure that came up in the Matteo's testing, is the parallel abort and end of download behavior.
But is that a bug? Is that a bug? I mean, does it fix a bug or is it actual a feature? I don't see that as a feature. I see that as a bug fix. If an issue,
you can see
okay,
it as
fine. As I want, yes.
Yeah. Also, yeah, we can also do it afterwards if it should not get ready, but just to note what might still come, or
yes,
if not,
indeed.
then you know that it may come afterwards. And another issue was found in the test that you have done, Andrea, for multi-UNI and multi-ONU environment.
Yeah.
Here it turned out that there's still some problem in the provision of the device reason in certain situations under high load.
Yeah.
And I'm just creating a new Jira for that, and hopefully that also can still be solved in that time frame.
Yeah, but also this one I would consider a bug. So even if it doesn't come into by Friday, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay.
And actually, something to keep in mind is that in the United States is a holiday starting tomorrow. So Thursday and Friday effectively are days off in the US. And so the US team, and actually myself, given that I am in the US, we will not be available. I know Hardik will be available, and maybe Girish a little bit because he's still at home. If there is anything urgent, feel free to ping me on Slack. I still get notifications. But given that these two elements that you just mentioned, Michael, I think they can be treated as bug fixes. I'm okay merging them after the code freeze. We are not in a terrible rush.
Yeah, and the other issue that we discussed in the beginning, mainly Holger, or the reconcile effect, I think, Holger, that is also quite a lot. It's not so easy to be done in the ONU adapter.
Actually, that our main problem is now solved with the change in the test cases, and also with the change in the ONU adapter or new adapter, and this special case that somebody manually intervenes when we are in reconciling mode. That's what is your impression, Andrea? I think it could also be done in 2.10, or is it absolutely
the
vital?
solution we discussed today.
Yeah.
I think that whenever it comes, it comes. If you work on it and it comes in right away before 2.9, we test it and it works, I would be okay with that. If not, we can then we can do it in 2.10. I mean, it's as Theo pointed out, it's a corner case. So
yeah, it's only these 26 or 30 seconds when we are not available after the adapter crash, and when then somebody is configuring something, then it happens.
Yeah, but anyway, I think all these three items that we just discussed are bug fixes. So I think
exactly.
Them coming after code freeze.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I think the same. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Well, then, thanks a lot. Let's get on with the patches and the things we're working on, and we'll reconvene again next week. As I said, if anything is fairly urgent, feel free to ping me on Slack. Some of you might also have my personal WhatsApp number. It's okay. You can use that as well if it's incredibly urgent. And I'll talk to you again on Slack and the mailing list, and if not, next week on the meeting. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And happy Thanksgiving for those of you in the US.
Goodbye, everyone.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.